welcome to the Zadzooks Happy Hour, a podcast providing commentary on the latest in film, TV, games, and comics. My name is Todd Stoll, and I'm joined by 25-year veteran reporter covering pop culture, video games, and technology for the Washington Times, Joseph Zadkowski. So, they did, so we're sort of back. Yeah, hey.
We're sort of back. Hello? Uh-oh. Yep, there it is. That's scary. Are we okay?
Yeah, it looks fine. So on Alien Day...
Alien Day.
Which is,
I didn't even know there was an Alien Day. Well, is that like Mother's Day?
It's LV 426, right?
This is an illegal Alien Day, and it's got nothing to do with immigration, correct?
No, this is Aliens, the movie. So remember, in the first two movies, they're on LV 426.
Okay.
Okay, that's the planet name. So on 426, April 26th, is Alien Day. Okay. On that day, all of the Alien movies went on sale for like $5 a pop on iTunes. So I'm like, all right, well, I've got a couple to fill that I haven't watched yet,
right,
or I didn't have. So I get Aliens 3, Alien vs. Predator,
Aliens 3,
Alien Resurrection,
no bueno,
Prometheus, and Alien Covenant.
Alien Resurrection.
Which we already...
No good.
Okay. So, basically, now watching Prometheus, because I hadn't seen it before, the android is responsible for creating the xenomorphs.
Yes.
Because he's...
Did you just give it away? The entire franchise?
God, this was out in like 2011. So, like... He's just a crazy android? Is he, like, defective? Or, like, what's wrong with him?
I don't know. Wasn't he... But isn't his programming following... Watani's...
I don't know.
Schedule?
I don't know.
It should.
See, what I found really interesting with the iTunes extras that they added was those little vignettes where he's narrating about, and they're showing him sketching all these things. Why wasn't that in the movie?
I don't know, but that was pretty cool, wasn't it? Well, I remember talking about this with you.
Right, and it was the Dr. Shaw who he basically kills and tries to turn into like his perfect specimen.
Yes. And what was the last movie?
Covenant.
Okay, all this happened in Covenant.
No. That happened at the end of Prometheus, pre-Covenant. But it's sort of like
I thought she escaped on a ship.
Shaw,
Prometheus.
She's with him, and then he kills her.
Right,
and then he starts genetically messing with her.
Right,
because he drops all of the alien, weapons or whatever they are on the planet of our origin.
Right.
Planet or whatever it was. I could definitely tell why people are not interested in Ridley Scott doing
another alien
movies, and I wish that they would just move out of the way and get Neil Blomkamp to do his, because Sigourney Weaver wants to do it, and it looks awesome. And then I went back, and of course, with Avengers Infinity War, they dropped the price on all of the Avenger movies, and I think there were like 3 that I hadn't seen all the way through. Spider-Man I hadn't seen at all. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Right. It's good, right?
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. And I had seen Thor and Thor 2 for them almost all the way through, but there were little pieces here and there that I missed. And then obviously Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, Ragnarok, Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, Avengers 1, Avengers 2, Ant-Man, which I liked. Why do you think Ant-Man was not in Infinity War? Just too many people?
I thought some of these guys were in lockdown in that SHIELD facility in Civil War. They were caught, Hawkeye and Ant-Man, and put in cells. Weren't they?
Yeah, I don't remember now.
Yeah, I think they were. But that doesn't explain what happened.
But then Ant-Man and Wasp is coming out in a month, less than a month.
But that's pre...
Is it
Infinity
War? But is it post Civil War?
I don't know.
This is where I'm started to get a little all over the place. So, okay. So you saw Avengers Infinity War.
I did.
I know how Avengers Infinity War ends because even if
You're not going to even see this movie,
even if you didn't screen it, they've ruined it on every late night show.
Only if you watched the late night shows. So
yeah,
I stayed way far away from all of that.
Now that it's out, they've all basically ruined it.
Right.
So what'd you think?
I thought it was wonderful. It was epic. It was everything I had hoped for. There was nothing wrong with that movie.
What was the one thought going through your mind as a fan of DC Comics?
I couldn't even think DC during that movie because it was so well done. For the Russo brothers to pull off that many characters on screen and actually make them interesting and amusing in the middle of all this drama going around, it's amazing. I don't know how DC's ever going to compete with that.
They're not.
Ever.
They're not.
They're squashed like bugs.
The only person that DC can rely on is Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I mean, Drax was amazing. Batista?
Yeah.
Every time he spoke, I was like slapping my knee. I was laughing so hard. It was unfreaking believable how the writing on this is so fun.
Do you think that at the end of, well, I guess it's supposed to be called Infinity Gauntlet. That's what that was the leaked name anyway. Do you think they'll introduce anyone new? I mean, obviously Captain Marvel will be in it at that point.
Yep, Captain Marvel, and then I think Ant-Man and Hawkeye will be in there somehow.
And Wasp.
And Wasp. So I think ultimately it's up to Iron Man to save the day, but I'm not quite sure what he's going to do yet.
I still think you're going to see a couple guys dead, permanently dead.
I mean, in the comics, what I had read the other day was Nebula steals the gauntlet. The end of, spoiler alert, the end of Infinity War, Thanos is basically hanging out in his cabin. He walks out of his cabin, like practically sitting there in a chair with a pipe, going, well, I did it. We're good. Everything's good. Yeah. All is great. I'm happy. We're done.
And it was surprising how central Doctor Strange was in this movie for only having done, I guess he was sort of in another Marvel movie, right? After his own standalone, was he in
Ragnarok?
Yeah, he was in Ragnarok for like a minute.
Very funny in that too. Jeez,
but he's central to the whole movie.
Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch on screen together is worth the price of admission. Mm-hmm. Even if they just stood there and said nothing for 2 minutes, it was worth watching.
And you know, it's sort of funny because Benedict Wong as Wong, is like so underrated, but he is in all of these crazy epic movies now. Yeah, and it's just another guy like Michael Stuhlbarg.
That's right.
Who's like he's in everything, but nobody calls him out on it.
Shannon, Michael Shannon.
He was in The Martian. He was in Prometheus. He was in obviously Doctor Strange.
Yep,
is in Avengers Infinity War. So at what point do they? So obviously, Deadpool is number one at the box office this week. 125 million domestically. It was like 310 million worldwide.
He'll get 1 week.
He'll get. He might get 2.
You actually think this week that he's going to beat Han Solo?
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
No chance.
I don't know. It depends on the Solo reviews are not as strong as his are.
It's like 10 percentage points, which means nothing.
So there was an interview with Ryan Reynolds where he essentially said, "I don't think they can ever introduce me into the Avengers arena as Deadpool because I invoke chaos and problems, and they're trying to solve them. So it would be,
I think it would be perfect.
Me being counterproductive to
hook up with Loki.
Yeah, I mean, it would be amazing, but I don't know. The problem is he wouldn't be able to swear.
He would not be able to swear. But they could amusingly bleep him every time he did, which would be pretty funny.
Yeah, and then and then you could watch the quote-unquote R-rated version.
R-rated version.
Yeah, I guess. He said there was this great interview that I saw where he said that he would do it and he would break the fourth wall and be like, "Oh, hey, look, it's the guy from Goonies." And just totally rip on Josh Brolin and call him Josh Brolin the entire time. Just really rip on him. And I'm like, I don't think
that ain't going to work.
You can't introduce that.
No, you can't do that.
But
And there's talk of a Obi-Wan Kenobi movie now.
There's been talk about that for a
Yeah,
while.
it's getting close.
Is it with
I gotta believe he already expressed interest. Ewan McGregor?
But do you think that they would go younger? They'd have to.
No, they go older.
So
His
before
time on Tatooine,
okay.
watching Skywalker grow up.
So after Solo, it's now episode 9, right? Is that next?
Yes,
That's next, right?
I think so.
And then after that is potentially the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie.
I thought that Rian Johnson has a trilogy coming up.
I thought that was after 9.
Yeah, and I also thought, who's the dude who plays Happy in the Iron Man movies? He directed the first Iron Man.
Favreau.
Favreau's directing Star Wars movies somehow. So,
I mean,
I don't know.
Think about it. Ron Howard came in to patch together a god-awful movie. The fact that it's at like 78% on Rotten Tomatoes, I got to give that guy a lot of credit because I bet it was probably going to be like in the 30s.
Yep, could be.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Deadpool this week, next week Star Wars, the following week, I think it's Ant-Man.
Really? Okay.
I think it's the first week in June.
I don't know.
And Ant-Man will not. Maybe it's 2 weeks after because there's no way. The first 2 weeks it's going to be Solo,
Yeah, easily.
across the board. But, I mean, geez, all these Marvel movies, these guys are going to be loaded. I mean, Disney made the smartest move ever buying that studio.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, what are they going to do after the Avengers? I mean, they'll do Guardians 3.
They'll do Guardians 3. They'll do Spider-Man 2.
I don't think they'll do another Iron Man.
They won't do another Iron Man, but they've got multiple X-Men movies coming out.
Yeah, with X-45 or X-23, whatever.
X-23 was
X-23.
No, I'm talking about the one with Jean Grey. What's her name?
Oh yeah. Where she's the Phoenix, right?
The Phoenix. That's right.
Right.
So that's coming.
Do you think they'll do another Thor?
I don't know.
Ragnarok was so good.
It's gonna be tough to
They're going
beat.
to do another Black Panther. Obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And Ant-Man 2. They've got to do another Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah. They've got tons.
Captain
coming.
Marvel is next year.
Yep.
Um.
And if they don't want Chris Evans doesn't want to do Captain America, I bet you they give it to the oh my goodness, the guy with the wings, Falcon. Because that would not be an outrageous thing to do.
Does Falcon?
Falcon is Captain America at one point in the story, in the comic book story.
Well, they might.
They could easily do that. He's certainly a personable enough gentleman.
And they'll never do a standalone Hulk movie. Not after the 2 bombs that they made.
Right.
So, I mean, you're going to see...
Oh, and they still have not done a Black Widow movie.
No, that's coming, I think.
Even though Red Sparrow is darn close.
I think that's coming. I thought she said it was.
Okay.
I just don't understand how or why it's needed. She's in every single movie.
Right. It could be good.
I mean, it's probably going to be great. If it's Marvel, it's going to be great.
Right.
When was the last time you saw a terrible Marvel movie?
Blade 3.
Ryan Reynolds
was in that, and so was Parker Posey, one of your favorites.
I don't want to talk about it. Did you know that Goliath is coming back?
I'm waiting. When?
Next week.
Oh, good.
Amazon.
I love that show. It's a very good show.
Mm-hmm. Looks good. That was so random.
We didn't even talk about Black Panther. Whatever. We don't have to.
Let's talk about it.
No.
Talk about it.
You haven't even seen it. I demand that you see something. I mean, listen.
I've been sick. Cut me some slack.
And what's your problem?
I don't want to talk about it. I have a problem of the kidney kind.
I am going to plug something. I did a big roundup on Star Wars Solo toys. And they've got a really nice promotion going right now. I was looking at the Chewbacca electronic mask, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you do your best version of Chewbacca and put it online and then hashtag, where's the hashtag? Wouldn't that stink? Hashtag Roar for Change.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give $1 to UNICEF. And I think they're doing this till the 25th. So hurry up.
Or can you even get it now?
What?
The mask.
You don't need the mask.
Oh,
all you got to do is
just do it.
And then hashtag it and put it somewhere. So that's cool.
I gotta say, if you want to get discounted toys, go to Toys R Us while you can, because they've still got stuff and they've dropped it to like 50% off.
Is that officially now done? Yeah. They're gone?
Yeah.
They didn't get that one guy to help and put enough cash up front?
I talked to somebody there and they were like, we don't know why they didn't accept his offer. Could have kept half the stores open.
Really?
And they won't accept it. And I was like, when's your last day? And they said, we don't know.
Wow.
Mid-June, early July.
That's sad. I had a lot of good memories of Toys R Us.
I worked there for 5 years.
Christ, I grew up going to Toys R Us. I can remember my parents every week placating me after having to sit with my grandmother for 4 hours, taking me to Toys R Us in like a Chicago urban area. And I bought my first Mego action figures at Toys R Us. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I mean,
and if you had never opened it, it would be
worth a fortune.
Fortune.
Unfortunately, I was a kid.
Well,
kids tend to do that sometimes.
My kids went and they got a couple things that was like ridiculously cheap.
I mean, years later, I took my son to a midnight Star Wars celebration opening at Toys R Us.
I worked one of those.
Yep.
I think it was episode 1.
It could have been.
I worked.
Because we bought a bunch of stuff.
And yeah, it was crazy to have all these cases saying do not open or you'll be sued.
So that was sad. It's really sad that they can't figure this out.
I gotta believe it'll turn into the way like Circuit City did, where somebody will buy the naming rights and it'll be an online only store.
Ugh.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard that
it's not the same.
I heard no, it's not, because they have niche toys that you cannot find in a Walmart or a Target.
And their displays were always wonderful. The toy displays that like Lego would put up and those guys.
The stuff we put up when Star Wars Episode 1 came out was ridiculous. We had to have like cherry pickers. I mean, it was like the real deal. And yeah, we opened at midnight and you know, there was some awesome stuff there. But if you want to get good deals, that's my tip of the week. Go before they're gone, because they've still got stuff. They've even got some Legos. They had some of the newish Star Wars Legos, not from Solo, and they were 20% off. So you can't beat that because Legos are never on sale.
Nope. Well, how'd we get into that?
I
can't remember anymore. Okay, that's fine. All right.
Yeah, so it's a bummer.
Break?
So take a break, and we'll come back.
Communities Digital News, built by the writers and editors that deliver the news 24 hours a day. Visit comdiginews.com. That's COMMDIGI news.com. And support the next evolution in news.
So did you get a chance to get any Legos for Solo?
Disney sent me a Disney sent me, not Lego, a Millennium Falcon Lego. The beauty of this thing, which is
it's called the Kessel Run Lego,
right?
Right.
It's 1,400 pieces. And maybe 5 years ago, I would have went, oh God, I'm going to waste a week doing this now. But now I'm able to farm out the process because my son has a girl friend who's a complete, total geek.
Great.
And she loves Lego.
Fantastic.
So this girl put this sucker together in 3.5 hours.
Man, how was her back afterwards? That's my biggest thing. My back kills me after a while.
She's about the size of my hand.
Okay.
So there was really no back issues involved.
Man.
She's a very small girl. I nicknamed her a Lilliputian. A combination of daughter-in-law and a Lilliputian because she's a very small person. So it's a 200-page manual.
Jeez.
So
and you know what sucks about that is like sometimes it's like literally one piece and they have to highlight it.
It is. There's 18 stickers, which is always bad news for parents, right? But it's really
Here's my question.
impressive.
But here's my question on the stickers, and I want your opinion on this. Do they do it because it's cheaper than spraying the individual pieces?
Of course.
Or do they do it because they want you to be able to feel
You want to be part of the process, you mean?
You know what? I'd rather they spray the pieces.
I'd rather they spray the pieces.
Yeah.
It's just too hard.
And they come off. And
like I said, her hands, I mean, she's about the size of the Falcon, so she's able to just jump on board and put stickers in,
It's just...
So that was easy.
The worst.
You get 7 figures with it. Han Solo, Chewbacca, Kira, Lando, Qual Toy Sayal, and a Kessel operations droid and a DDBD droid, which is pretty cool. So you get a lot of figures. Chewbacca looks the best.
Yeah,
We're looking at photos.
Chewbacca looks awesome, actually.
So it's a good Chewbacca. It doesn't make any noise, but it does explain a lot about how Han Solo beat the crap out of the Millennium Falcon.
Right, that's what everyone is saying.
Because the front of the Falcon actually has an escape pod.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is when you see the old Falcon, once it's all beat up, there's obviously no escape pod there anymore. So it's just the 2 mandibles there.
Right.
So that's very cool. The only problem I had with the entire set was it's almost impossible to get Han Solo and Chewbacca into the cockpit at the same time.
Does it lift up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It lifts up. It's just tight. And there's like some weird Swedish coffee maker sitting behind them. So it's kind of tight.
I think that there's a reference to that in the movie for whatever reason. I know somebody that just bought the $700.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Millennium Falcon, which I think is like 40,000 pieces.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
it's something ridiculous.
Oh, boy.
$700, man. I mean, the thing weighed 150 pounds.
Really?
I mean, he could have been exaggerating.
He's got to be exaggerating.
But he said it was heavy as hell.
I don't think he's ever lifted 150 pounds.
Well, I don't know.
That's really
but
heavy.
Why would you... I mean, listen, man.
You got to be crazy.
I loves me some Legos like the next guy does, but $700 for a Millennium Falcon when you know they're just going to make another one.
They will make another one. I think there was a variation on this one before. It's the old Han Solo version.
They've done, I think there's something like 8 Millennium Falcons.
But this one's pretty kid-friendly, too, and it's solidly built. So I'm happy about that.
So what is this, the $149.99 model?
Yeah. Is it? I think it's...
Or is it cheaper than that?
I think it's cheaper than that. I think it's like $99.
$99. Even still, man, you're $99 for plastic.
I know.
It's like, God.
But if your kids are into it, I mean, there's no way to not do that.
The guy who invented Lego, man.
$169.
Okay.
It's not the guy who invented Lego. It's the guy who cut the licensing deals with Lego.
I know.
That's the special.
I mean, they've got their whole superhero line, and they have a new Guardians ship from
they had
Infinity
Harry
Wars.
Potter, and they had.
Yeah, you know what? That sucks, man. Because my kids would love Harry Potter, and you can't get them. And that's the one thing that kind of annoys me about Lego is they retire stuff.
Yeah.
But they just came out with Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom stuff, and my kids are like, friggin', their heads are exploding. Over it. But they're all, they're $89, $99, $199.
I would rather spend $169 on a Lego for my kid than give him a video game.
Agreed.
I mean, it's so engaging to do something like that.
The problem is once it's built, then what do you do with it?
You play with it, you knucklehead.
And then it collects dust.
You got all these figures, you play with it.
Yeah. Hey, man, I've got like big totes at my parents' house full of just loose Legos. And my parents were like, hey, you want us to sell this? I'm like, no, I don't want you to sell this. When would you ever sell Legos? That's crazy.
You don't sell, you pass them on.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
To the next generation.
It's kind of the same thing with Thomas the
Tank. Yeah, I've got my Thomas the Tank.
Because they're all wood. They're never going to disintegrate. They're never going to fall apart.
Right.
And any kid will play with them.
That's right.
Period.
Immediately.
Kids love trains.
What else you want to talk about?
Well, I'm looking on your screen about Rick and Morty. How about that?
Pickle Rick?
How about that 70-episode pickup for Adult Swim?
Yeah. Yeah. So they just released season 3 on DVD and Blu-ray.
I'm going to have to get that then.
And guess what? It's great. It's funny.
Because they're hilarious. Both of them.
It's beyond funny. But these guys, they are mental basket cases.
I love it, though.
They basically in their commentary tracks over and over again keep telling people, look, we're effed up. We don't know what we're doing. We're just, and this season was supposed to be 14 episodes, and they just couldn't figure it out.
How many was it?
10. It was supposed to be 14.
And
they were committed to do this.
And they just couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it.
Maybe they've got to get more writers.
Oh, man. I don't know what they got to do. But it's obvious there's love for this show. I mean, this show has multiple commentary tracks on every episode.
Yeah.
And one of the best, and I probably told you this already, but I didn't tell our audience. One of them is with Marilyn Manson and oh God, what is her name? Courtney Love. That is the bizarrest combination ever. And these two guys are just sitting there riffing and having fun.
Because they're fans. Because they're not in Rick and Morty at all.
No, they just came in and they're fans. There's one with Russell Brand with the creators. Mm-hmm. It's just funny. Mm-hmm. And the Game of Thrones team. Creators D.B. Weiss and David Benioff and Peter Dinklage. They're just in a room talking about Rick and Morty.
I mean, they're short enough episodes where, like, it's a great time killer. You can, it's a lot like The Simpsons and Family Guy, right? They're real quick. You can consume 4 or 5 of them before you get tired of it.
And Pickle Rick is so good on so many levels.
And it's so bizarre that is what has really stood out as the go-to for Rick and Morty is Pickle Rick.
The Pickle Rick episode?
Yeah. I mean, it's granted, it's really messed up. Very, very messed up.
But it's funny.
It's funny as hell.
Yep.
So that's exciting.
Yeah. 70. I can't believe they didn't have a massive heart attack together after that got sent out because they have no chance of filling that order.
But yet they released this hilarious video on social media where they're both taking a shower together and they're like, well, back to work.
Yep. They're never going to hit that number. Never.
I mean, it's good through what, 2023?
I just need them to do a few more. I love watching them. They're all good.
Man, those books are amazing. Those Rick and Morty books.
2 volumes. Wow.
Volume 1.
Is that the art of Rick and Morty?
It's the comic strips versions with when you open the book, it talks to you.
Funny.
Which is great. And then I saw something really interesting to dive away from Rick and Morty, but being renewed and adding on to it. Did you see what happened to Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
It got canceled.
And then 48 hours later got picked up by NBC.
Right.
And the only reason... And Fox said, we didn't want to cancel it. We just don't have any room for it. Yeah. Because they picked up Thursday Night Football, and they've cleared out their entire Thursday schedule. And then they brought back Tim Allen's Last Man Standing to go up against Roseanne.
Right.
So they basically are starting to have a problem where they have too many sports and not enough airtime. They could have moved it to FX, but I find that really weird.
Or they could have just not wasted the money on professional football.
Thursday Night Football, the players hate it.
Right. I don't know why. That's so interesting. I'm sorry. I really don't care about professional sports anymore.
No, I mean...
My love loss. I have no love for those guys anymore.
Is it because the Capitals are losing and they're probably going to...
I'm so not a Capitals fan. I could care less. I hope they lose.
Black Sox? Or
I'm a Cubs fan, but I'm not a big Cubs fan. Okay. When I was a little kid, I was a Cubs fan, but now it's just, the first Major League Baseball strike started souring me immediately. And I just never...
It's been a while, at least.
I've just never recovered.
Now, hockey definitely has suffered greatly under multiples.
I don't even know enough about hockey to tell you why I don't even like hockey.
All I know is there's a first-year franchise, the Las Vegas something or other, and they're going to the finals, playing potentially...
And when I had seen a game live, I was fascinated at these things called line changes, where these guys... I thought the players just stayed on the ice rink for like the entire time. But they don't. They do short bursts, and then they leave.
And then there's a stupid rule called icing.
How do you ice?
I think you pass the puck
during the middle of a line change.
No, you pass the puck from one end to another, and if it goes behind the goalie, I don't even know.
See,
it's in all the stupid video games I've ever played, and it was like constantly icing. It's like,
Right.
seriously, we gotta do another face-off. This is ridiculous. What a waste of my time.
Right.
I mean, granted, the last hockey game I went to, there were 5 fights in it, all very entertaining.
Sure. That's entertaining.
But that was about it.
Right.
And if I wanted to watch fights, I'd watch MMA or something.
There you go.
So, we got anything else?
With that, I got nothing else.
You got nothing else?
You go home and pass your kidney stone, and we'll be
Thanks, man. It's the worst thing ever.
feel better. No, there are lots of worse things than a kidney stone, but it's not. It's not a
losing a limb.
It's not a happy moment.
Getting shot.
Falling down an elevator shaft.
Yeah, I mean,
getting buried alive. I mean, there's worse things that can happen
but
to
from
you.
a pain threshold,
yeah,
getting shot or stabbed.
I think it's the anticipation. It's the pain and the anticipation of the passing pain. That's probably a deadly combination for you.
They literally thought I had an appendicitis when I went in. They were certain of it until they did a CT scan.
Which, by the way, is a vestigial organ, and we don't even need it. So they just, when you're born, they should just cut it out. You should get a circumcision and cut it out if you're a guy.
Maybe if you grind it up and you serve it as a soup or something,
Yeah.
that's the cure for cancer.
You never know.
There's got to be some reason we've got this thing, right?
We adapt and we evolve, Todd. You should know that as much as anyone. Having worked for the Smithsonian and continuing to work for the Smithsonian, where each day you adapt and evolve.
So what's the position of your organization then? Do we adapt?
I'm adapting and evolving on a daily basis.
Are you stockpiling more guns?
I'm stuck. What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. See ya.